Welcome to Comedians After Hours with your hosts Willis and Vere.
Hello, I'm Adam Willis.
I'm George Vere.
Hello, I'm Ian Coulter.
And welcome to another episode of Comedians After Hours. Today's guest is Yuriko Kotani.
Yay!
Hey.
Hi!
Hello. How are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good,
thank you for
thanks.
coming all the way out to Leyton,
Thank
which is
you.
where you are now.
Thank you very much for having me at Leyton Park.
Thank you.
I believe this is your second interview today.
Yes.
How did the first one go?
Yeah, it was lovely, nice. But then we got a piano here,
Yes.
and then
Yep.
this microphones, and yeah.
What's the problem with the microphone?
There's no problem at all.
Oh, good, okay.
No problem.
Because we were saying earlier it is the heaviest.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
maybe people listened to this before, but it is the heaviest microphone I've ever seen or used.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. It is quite weight.
If at any point it gets too much, you can switch with Ian.
How's
Okay.
that work?
We can make it work. We're here to accommodate Ian.
Okay,
Are you not
well-
here to accommodate?
Don't expect me to play piano then.
Don't you? You'll play piano and you'll hold a microphone if you need to. You'll play one-handed.
All right.
Multitask.
Hello. Hello. Please come in. Take a seat. Can you push the chair back in front of the door, just because it doesn't shut otherwise? Thank you, guys.
A tight
Yeah,
ship.
that's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, this is what happens in most comedy clubs or rooms. Would you mind telling people before we start, or as we've started, a little bit about you, what you've done, what you're doing now?
Hi everybody, my name is Yuriko Kotani, and I'm from Japan, and I do stand-up comedy in the UK. And
Woo.
yeah, thank you very much.
How did you start out doing stand-up comedy?
So when I came over here for the first time, I've been shown the British comedy. The comedy was the League of Gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
That's a good introduction,
yeah.
I think, to
Yeah.
British comedy, yeah.
And it just blew my mind. Just, what is this? And it's like a dark and comedy altogether.
Because you don't have that in Japan at all.
Exactly. So
Okay.
we have the dark stuff like horror and also comedy, but then there's no mixture. I don't think I've ever seen. Maybe it exists, but maybe I don't know.
Even now? Or was this back when you...
Back when back then. So, yeah, and then I started to watch other British comedies like Black Book or The Mighty Bush or Green Wing.
They're all quite
and-
cult comedies, actually.
Sorry?
They're all quite cult comedies. They're not necessarily big mainstream comedies. They're all kind of...
Okay.
sort of, but they're not as big as like Mrs. Brown's Boys or something. So you had a good introduction to British comedy. You easily could have watched a different channel. And you could have watched, say, Mrs. Brown's Boys. And then you
Right.
might not have moved to England to do comedy. That's what I'm saying. Or Ireland or whatever, because that is not good. I'm publicly saying I don't think that comedy's very good.
Fucking done us for funding, haven't you?
What, from Mrs. Brown, from the island?
Well, I don't know where it's going to come from, do I?
Do you know Mrs. Brown's Boys?
Yes, I've heard of it. I heard
Shit.
it's like hugely well known.
Popular?
Yeah, it's very popular,
popular.
but it's crap. Yeah.
Does anyone like Mrs. Brown's Boys?
Good. Discerning. No, they're good. A discerning audience. Very good. And then you moved here
Yes.
as a result of just seeing those things. You thought
No,
comedy.
she said she was already here, right? Didn't you?
So,
I have it down that you were in a Manzai act. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
you're not
okay.
pronouncing it
So because of the love of the British comedy, but I've never thought that I do comedy. So I was just a comedy fan. Then many years later, I just started to feel like maybe I want to write comedy in English, but then not performing because it's super scary. It's not like a talk in front of people. Like it's just like. So I was thinking about writing comedy, but then one time. Just do it. Just be on stage and do it. But then because we don't have that So the major style in Japan is like Adam said, like a manzai style, which is the double act. So two people are.
I might be wrong. A Garagebat?
Yes.
Okay, they were really funny.
Yes.
Really funny.
Yes,
I've seen they're the ones that got like the guys with mohawks, and then they like go in and out of a.
So
yellow
they were really
red,
popular. Really popular in Edinburgh, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. Really popular, and they're really funny. It was like I don't know anything about the genre, but I would say it's like physical comedy. But it was really funny when I saw it.
Yes, I saw them last year when I did the mixed bill show, and I spoke to them, and they were so nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like did you try that? You had a partner you were doing comedy with.
I didn't have the partner, but because I was so scared to do by myself, so I asked the person, "Hey, can you do these lines?" And then that night, I wasn't sure it went well or not. I had the feeling like I was everything was just like so. And then, because I've been booked for another comedy gig in 1 month's time, should I cancel it or do it? And then, okay, I'm going to do it, but then I'm going to change. So I made it for one person.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've thought about that a lot, working with Adam, about continuing the act, but just with one person.
It wouldn't work because you're mean-spirited. And ultimately, I don't think people would warm to you enough.
That's actually true. You're right, that would never work. You're right, it would never work. The only time I've tried that, it's turned on the audience, and they don't laugh because I'm being horrible. So you're right, it doesn't work.
You did.
All right, never mind. Never mind about that. It's not an interview of me. Let's carry on. Go on, consult your list of notes.
You're not supposed to say that. So then you tried stand-up. I assume that you immediately... Did you enjoy performing it at first? Did you still find it nerve-wracking?
I love it. It's because doing stand-up comedy is like you get the reaction straight away, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So you know that if it's working or not. And sometimes, it's like you don't know whether are they laughing for me so that I can feel better or what is it? But then usually... when I get the instant response of like huge laughter, and then I'm like, yes.
So it was like scary, but not so scary that you couldn't do it. You managed to overcome your sort of fear.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Well, definitely. You're now going to the Fringe with an hour-long show.
True.
Also as well at the Pleasance,
yeah.
Which is like for people that haven't been to the Fringe, is like a huge. It's the one that I think ultimately you want to be at if you're doing a comedy show. It's
So well done, I think he's saying.
Yeah. Thank you.
How soon after starting it and developing did you act? Did the BBC Radio Comedy Award come along?
Oh yes. So I started in.
Someone's dragging a body around outside.
Yeah. Okay. I started in 2014. Then, the BBC was 2015. So I think a year and a half, or nearly 2 years. Yeah, a half.
Mm-hmm. Would you want to say what that is, Adam?
I mean it's an award for new comedians that they go.
Oh, I know. Don't tell me.
I feel like it speaks for itself. The BBC Radio New Comedy Award. I think it's pretty clear in this.
And so, how did you get involved in that? Did you do audition, or how does that work? I don't know much about it.
Okay, so there are so many competitions for new acts, so I just applied for everything. But then this BBC New Comedy Award one, it was I wasn't sure because it was a radio, audition was audio, and then everything was broadcasted in radio. So because of my accent and everything, so I thought maybe it's not for my competition. But then, someone said, just go for it. So so I only had 1 minute left for the deadline, but and then I downloaded the application form and then I applied and then got through the first round. So I was just overwhelmed.
Mhm.
Then went to the final, so I couldn't believe any of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you think your act? I think from watching you, I think you're quite deadpan. Do you think? How do you think you are? Because do you feel like you're a physical performer, or did that work so well because you are quite?
Okay. So the first couple of years, people told me like, "Oh, I love your deadpan face," but then I didn't know what the deadpan means. I went back home and I Googled what's the meaning of deadpan, and then I was like, "What?" Because I thought I was smiling on stage. Then one time I had to look at my video of me performing on stage, and then I looked like not even deadpan, like
Really
angry at something.
Furious.
Just like angry. Yeah.
But I think that would be quite creepy to be smiling the whole time, wouldn't it? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm trying to think of stand-ups I've seen that smile a lot.
Well, yeah, but surely it's also creepy the other way. If you never smile.
Yeah, good point. Do we smile much in our shows?
I don't know, actually.
No,
I don't think I do.
I don't think so.
Ian doesn't think we do.
No.
Ian, do you want to ask your first question while you piped
Okay.
up? Your face lit up then?
Yeah.
So this is quite a heavy one.
Okay, good.
What
Necessary.
What is the meaning of life?
We've had that before.
What is the meaning of life?
Yeah.
Just to be clear as well, your PR agent sent me an email saying, what kind of things are you going to be asking? Because obviously Yuriko's doing this in a second language.
Yeah.
And I definitely forgot to tell Ian that. Now that he's asked you what the meaning of life is.
It's all right.
But do answer it,
It's
please.
an open answer, so you know
Yes.
you can give whatever you want.
Thank you.
Meaning of life. Okay, so in Japanese.
In English,
there
please.
okay. So in English, I'm gonna.
Mhm.
So.
No, you can
so
say it in Japanese. Some
in
people get it.
Japanese, we have two words for life.
Mhm.
One is like, this is my life.
Oh yeah.
But then the other one is everyday living life.
Ah.
Like,
Mhm.
cleaning.
Oh, okay. I thought that was what you're doing. You're doing some action with your hand. And so I was like, is that ironing? Yes. So are you asking for clarification about which life?
Yes, which life?
Answer that, Ian. There we go. The question's
no.
back on you, Ian. Mate. You didn't expect
I like
that.
this.
You didn't expect that, did
The
you? mate?
ironing one.
Ironing.
You don't mean that, you little shit.
Meaning of ironing.
I'll tell you
How has
what.
this got so... This is your fault for asking such
Adam,
a stupid question.
You answer the question.
You answer it first and then...
I think when you say we have a saying in Japanese, it sounds wiser than anything I could say.
No. Go on.
don't know
You're putting yourself down, mate. Go on.
I don't know what the meaning of life. I don't think I lead a worthwhile enough existence to tell other people how to live their life.
That's true, yeah.
I eat crisps all day.
That is true.
Should we accept that was a bad question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You have to now on the spot come up with another one.
All right. What is your favourite food?
Great. We're really getting to the heart of it now. It's really worth coming all the way to Leyton for.
What is your favourite food?
Oh, do you guys like edamame?
There's
I
not
don't know what that is.
You don't know?
beans.
So, yes, edamame beans. Edamame.
That's your favourite food?
So I love edamame. And then nowadays I started to see edamames everywhere in Britain, so I'm so happy about it.
Yeah, I've had them a few times. Adam's just not cultured. I've had edamame. They're nice, aren't they?
I've had a katsu curry before.
From Wagamama or something.
Curry.
Yeah.
From Wagamama.
Classic, yes.
Yeah. You just like the beans on their own?
Usually we eat with the, how do you call it? Case? No, case.
Yeah, like the I know, yeah.
Edamame case.
Does anyone know? Yeah, like the
Shell,
like the
yes.
sort of shell, but not. Who said
Yeah.
shell? Which of you said shell? It's not a shell. There's a bean. What?
Bean shell.
Bean shell.
The bean shell. Yeah, fine. No one in the room knows what the word
No.
is.
So you
Fine.
eat it with the bean shell.
You eat it with the bean shell.
Yeah, with the bean shell. In Japan we have the bars called the izakaya. And so yeah, we order them like a tapas, and then we drink, and then
That sounds nice.
Yes.
Does that exist? No, we don't have any of that. We have edamame, but you have to make them yourself. We don't have restaurants do we? That sell that?
Oh,
We do.
We do. As Serena's saying we do.
Yeah.
Play your question out.
Okay.
And now we go back to Adam's list of notes.
So,
You're literally look at her when you're asking a question. Don't just look at the notes.
look at her because you are holding the microphone. I have to look the other way. So,
Double act.
I wanted to ask a little bit about this. This felt too rich not to bring up. I believe you were the tour support for the puppetry of the penis tour.
yes,
How did you get that gig?
Yes, I did.
It's a logical choice.
Yes, I did. One night, one show.
Was it fun?
Yes, it was. Something, isn't it? It's.
I've never seen it.
Never seen? Oh, you should. Have any of you seen?
Do you know what it is? Have any of you heard of this before? What is it? Can you explain a bit what it is?
So it's two men from Australia do the show with the penis tricks.
Oh, wow.
Tricks.
with big screen, and so
They needed a big screen, did they?
I was making a joke about the size of the penis. Okay, interesting. And then so that's a whole hour show, is it?
Yes, I think
okay.
even more than an hour. I think.
Oh, wow.
Could be.
So they have an interval.
Oh, maybe not. So usually, I did the support act and then interval, then whole.
Then puppetry of the penis.
Whole
yeah.
hour of penis.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes. Sounds good, Ian, right?
Yeah.
You've
No
done a
problems
few
with
tour
that.
supports, haven't you? Who have you tour supported for?
I support. Rob Delaney.
Wow. Lots of nodding in the audience. Good. When you do that, do they make you? Do they need to know the jokes in advance?
No, I don't think so. No.
Because I know some things. Obviously, if it's like a big sort of corporate gig or TV, they make you write the jokes in advance. I don't know how specific you have to be for that. It's easy, is it?
Oh yeah. For that, it was more like a club set.
Oh, great.
I guess.
Okay.
Do your best. Bits.
Yeah. But probably in a bigger room, right? Than you're used to normally doing. If it's Rob Delaney.
Yeah. Of course, yes. And then everyone was loving Rob, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'd love to do tour support. Why don't we do that?
Well, no one's offered us.
Oh yeah.
They won't let us do tour support.
Ian, do you want to ask your next question, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ian. Can this one not be a big philosophical idea, please?
Yeah.
That has to be translated from Japanese into English.
Can you teach Adam and George how to be funny?
What do you mean by that?
Wow.
You little rat.
You've asked some offensive questions in your time, but that was the
Well, can you give me any
biggest
tips?
piece of horse shit you've ever said.
Oh, okay. Then
but can you give
would you
some
like to try manzai? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
To try some manzai.
Now we're talking.
You tell us what to do.
Yeah.
Adam, sorry, I know you're excited, but stop shouting.
Sorry. Would you like us to? We can get up and do some manzai, and you could sort of direct us through that. That sounds fun.
And
Sounds like a good
should we
audio
film it?
medium. Yeah. Someone would have to film it. Yeah.
Serena, could you film it, please?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so how do we do this?
So famous phrase is the silly one said something silly,
Okay, that's Adam.
and then a straight one
me.
said "nandeanen."
Nandeanen.
That's it.
Nandeanen.
But then I don't have to say. But then perfect.
Say something stupid.
I only know one phrase in Japanese. I'm going to say that,
Okay.
and then you can say your line.
Nandeanen.
Okay. So I'm going to say, "Watashi wa Nihongo narau to shitemasu."
Nandeanen.
Yay!
Yeah, that was good, right? That was traditional Japanese.
And that'd go down well, would it, in Japan?
Yes, you'll be massive.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. What did you say?
I said, what did I say? Did it make sense?
So I speak Japanese. Could you say again?
I said, "Watashi wa Nihongo nara uto shitemasu."
Oh, yes, I'm going to learn Japanese.
Yeah.
That actually, it
And
sounded
then you
quite
said,
good
what
to
are you
me.
talking about?
That's like our normal act, just in Japanese.
The irony as well of that sentence being the only one I know, and then I didn't learn Japanese.
That's quite. It's basically just our same act, but translated in Japanese. Maybe we are. Is it manzai?
Manzai.
Maybe we are that anyway.
Yeah.
Just an English version.
Yeah.
And I then was the boke.
Bouquet.
You're always the bouquet. You're such a
Okay, and
bouquet.
then
You're such a bouquet.
Tsukomi.
Zukomi.
Tsukomi.
Zukomi.
Yes, like a
Z-
tsu-
Z- Zukomi.
tsukomi.
Zukomi.
Tsu-
Sounds good, does it? Everyone?
Why are you looking
I do have a question. Have you
Did
done...
we answer Ian's question?
Did you answer? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you taught us how to be funny.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well done.
Thank you. Well done, Ian. Play your question out. Well done, Ian.
Okay, so we're going to take a short break here to talk about the things that we are up to.
Really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. So obviously the Soho's coming up, which
Yeah.
I think we're going to mention at some point. in the
If you're
episode
wondering,
anyway.
by the way, what this really loud music is in the background, we're still in the Leyton Technical after doing the podcast with Yuriko, who's also still here. So this is sort of, yeah, there we go, head over there, which is sort of pointless, but that's what that is if you're wondering. Sorry, Adam's going to start, he's entered promotion mode now.
So if you're in it, I'm probably wondering what we're up
Stop
to.
moving it close to your fucking mouth.
probably
We do a
would- stop
fucking mic test and
swearing
you
at
move
me.
it into your mouth, you bellend.
You're shouting.
You're shouting down that.
You're
Shut up
shouting.
and hurry up.
But I'm shouting off mic.
Okay, we're going to Soho. We're doing the Starship Osiris again, and it's on.
Don't
from,
say it like that. It's
Well,
brilliant.
I'm upset
You
now.
shouted at him.
Yeah.
But he
It's
was
on from-
shouting down the mic. He still is.
and it's on from August 7th to August 10th, and upstairs, and it's. So come along, throwing shit at me. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, so come along because it's really good. It's really genuine.
It's taken over now.
It'll be a really
Really
good
genuine guy.
show. And everybody who comes gets a free Starship Osiris badge. Limited edition Starship Osiris
It's
badge.
not my face anymore.
No, it's the logo from the show. It's like
Yeah.
like you're part of the
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah, which is a good idea, I think. Then you feel like you're part of the show.
Yes.
Yep.
And that'd be nice. I'll be giving them out of the door at the end. I
I've one
imagine.
small question before we carry on. Why did your tooth fall out, Adam?
Why are you bringing this up now?
Well, it seemed like an interesting thing to say.
Because
Because you're forcing me to look at your
I haven't
mouth
been
now.
into the dentist in
You clean your
5-6
teeth
years.
though, right?
I do brush my
Yeah.
teeth.
I thought it was 10 years.
I think it's I'm just getting it isn't. I think it's just must be getting old.
Yeah. 25 is the age usually when your teeth fall out for no
Okay,
reason.
all right. Okay, I'm gonna stop this shit.
Booze.
I'm gonna stop this shit and get back to the interview.
You boozy fuck.
Fuck off. Thanks. Have you done stand-up in Japan?
It's a good question.
There's now a jazz band. who's
Yes,
started up.
drum and.
Yeah, have you done stand-up in Japan?
So I did the gigs in Japan, but it's for English-speaking comedy nights.
Mm-hmm.
So you've never done it to Japanese audiences?
Audience. But however,
Huh?
one night I did in Japanese. I MC'd in Japanese, but I've never done MC. I've never done comedy in Japanese. So it was just yeah.
How did it go?
I have no idea, but later I was like cringe moments. But yeah, it was a fun experience, and all the acts were, most of them were English or British acts
All right.
doing in Japanese.
What?
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
are these
the-
people doing this? I didn't
Yeah.
know anyone in England could speak Japanese.
Yeah, so but it was in Japan. So
Oh, wow.
the British comics who live in Japan. Did
How many of them? How many is that? There must be about 3 people.
There are many acts do in Japan,
Ah.
but people who does in Japanese is that night 2 or 3,
I didn't know there was any.
maybe more.
There's an Australian guy out in Japan with a big beard in a dress. I know that.
Oh,
You knew it straight away.
I
It's so-
know
oh, yeah,
him. Lady Beard? No, Beard.
Yeah, and he's like a metal singer and a wrestler, and he's just out there. There's a lot. There's a few like Japanese men from the
Fascinating.
going around in like dressed as schoolgirl. I noticed there was a
Yes, there's one
like a
guy
stereotype.
famous on social media, isn't it?
I saw there one that there was a Japanese guy dressed as a schoolgirl, and he was the first Japanese guy to become a man to become a geisha. Am I wrong? I don't know about this. I might be. Anyway, this is
maybe I'll.
Sounds ill researched.
Yeah,
this is really
Talking about things you
I'll
don't
have a
know
look,
about.
That sounds really badly researched.
I wanted to ask. Do you
Ask it then.
when you write stand up?
Yes.
Do you write it in English first, or do you write it in Japanese first?
Oh, that's another interesting question because I still don't know what I'm doing. But so sometimes when I'm in English mode and I'm writing in English, and sometimes I'm in the Japanese mode and I just write in Japanese, so my notes look quite chaotic.
And do you have some? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, so are there sets that you couldn't do in Japanese, or you'd have to think about it if you tried to translate it to Japanese?
Oh, yes. I think, so when I think write down in Japanese mode and I have to change to English, but in a, like funny way, like punchlines and all that.
I was going to say, does everything translate from English into Japanese? But then I saw a bit you did about ish.
Yeah.
And so maybe the answer is no, not everything in English translates into Japanese.
No. So when I MC it in Japan in Japanese, and I translate my stuff into Japanese, and some stuff worked, and some stuff everyone's like, like, no, it's not. It's a joke. Like, more
It's a
like
joke, not a point.
acknowledged.
Yeah. Yes, I don't. Go on.
I also noticed that you've done in English.
Why does your voice go like that when you ask things? Did you notice this? I really wanted to ask you.
I've also noticed you do. You've done quite a bit of acting in England. You've done. Were you acting beforehand? Is it something that's come from stand-up?
So I did Please Like, and it was more like a mockumentary, isn't it? It's a great like a.
It was very funny.
Yeah, I know.
Very, very funny.
It's great.
It's such a good cast as well. It's like, what is it, Tim Key?
Yeah.
And,
Liam Willis.
Yeah.
That woman who's really funny. I can't remember. Lolly Adefope.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So everyone's super funny, and yes, it's.
So how did that come about? Did you have to audition for it, or?
Yes, and.
Were they looking specifically for like a Japanese woman living in England, or just anybody? And you?
I think maybe because the character is Japanese, so I think they were looking for a Japanese female comic, and in that case,
the obvious choice.
Maybe
Get Yuriko on the phone right now.
I didn't get offered the part.
No, you didn't, did you? You very rarely get offered parts. Ian.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. I'm going to ask another good question.
Please.
So, what would you be doing right now if you weren't doing this podcast?
Ah, interesting.
Very interesting.
Fascinating.
So because nowadays, so Edinburgh Fringe, pre-Edinburgh Fringe mode, somehow my flat is becoming cleaner and cleaner.
Because you're nervous and you're cleaning.
Maybe because I'm not like has to be spotted clean like that kind of person at all. But then this month or June, I'm just like just thinking about things, but then at the same time doing something else. Maybe like cleaning is like you can be productive.
Yeah.
Maybe do you?
I fully get this. Do either of you? I'll be interested to know because I'm very clean and tidy. I think. Do you? I know. Before you say anything, you don't do this or any cleaning ever.
So I like the act of tidying. I just don't do it. I never schedule in. I'm too busy.
What are you busy doing? Eating crisps and watching Rick and Morty.
It doesn't matter what I'm busy doing. Yeah, well, it's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I got my priorities right. I really like folding things. I really like.
Do
like,
it then.
It's not true.
I do. I really enjoy it. I just.
Look how unfold. Look at this shirt. How crinkly it is. Your granddad would not be happy with you. This is Adam's granddad's cowboy shirt,
No.
and it's been put into shit from you not ever folding it.
You said wouldn't. He's still alive.
Well, yeah, he wouldn't be happy, would he, with you?
Oh, he wouldn't care.
We'll contact him in the next podcast and ask.
He's busy living his life. Look, but
Running a caravan park.
If you weren't here, I'd be folding it right now.
That's not true.
Busy doing this.
Whatever.
Ian, what about you?
What do I like tidying?
Yes.
I quite like tidying, yeah.
All right, play your
My room's
question.
pretty clean.
All right, play your question then. Thank you, Ian.
Slightly different.
Did you do that at the end?
I just went like that instead.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I'm aware we haven't talked about Somo yet. Can you? That's your new Edinburgh show. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's about?
Yes. So, Somo is about. So in Japan, we have the proverb. The nail sticks out. The nail that sticks out gets hammered down.
Ah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I think I get the idea of
I
that.
really get it.
Do you get the idea of that?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel it every day.
feeling it. So, which means if you're different or trying to be
Then you'll get-
unique, and people.
That's a
wouldn't
good
like
phrase.
it.
I understand it. It's a good proverb. So
So-
your show's about that?
So my show is it's my journey to find my own voice, I guess, by through learning, different cultures, living in Britain and then lived in Japan, and then finding my own individuality.
Well, we're going to come and see you in Edinburgh because we're going up for 1 week, and so should people listening to this. When is it on? What time? And
It's
where?
it's at 7:00 at the Pleasance Courtyard Attic Room.
Which is a great little venue at the top of the Pleasance Courtyard. It's a really nice little room. Yeah, cool.
One more thing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
So somo means to begin with or in the first place in Japanese, but then at the same time it's the name of the place in Fiji Islands. It's a paradise place called Somo, and it's nothing to do with it. So please, to everybody who heard this podcast and thinking about it could be about Paradise Island, and it's not.
I don't think anyone would think that. People are too stupid, aren't they? But no one researches it.
Experience, yeah, everything's really stupid.
All right. Well, that sounds cool. Now, guys. All right. You've been sitting very patiently. You have a question? I do. Ian, we're just going to get a mic over to you so you can be heard. Now, what's it? How is this, by the way? Is this too heavy? You got it?
Now I'm
Okay.
getting used to it.
Oh, good. You're
Yeah.
building up muscles. in your
Yes,
arms.
yes. Microphone muscle.
Hi, yeah. So earlier on you spoke
Hi.
about how you'd have to translate your work from either English to Japanese or Japanese back. But in terms of the style of comedy, do you think that the comedy that you do in England, would it be as successful in Japan, or would you have to change it completely, like a different genre or anything like that?
Oh, you said silent comedy.
No, just
what is it?
the style of your comedy, sorry.
Style
Yeah.
of my comedy.
So like here we like dark humour. In
Oh,
Japan, would that
yes.
be as successful, or would you have to change what you're talking
Oh,
about?
that's so interesting question. Very interesting question.
Well done.
I'd love to bring this British humor into Japan because I think people would love it. Because I fell in love, and I think Japanese people love self-deprecating humor as well.
Yeah.
That feels. I feel like I would know that somehow. I don't know why.
So,
That feels like
Feel it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel instinctively like I understood that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd love to bring it to Japan and perhaps do it in Japanese so that Japanese audience can enjoy.
Why do you think that there isn't as much of that in Japan? That type of humor. As in, why do you think
dark
that?
humor.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that so? Do you?
From the
My
little I've
question-
seen of Japanese TV comedy, often it's people getting hurt, which is
yes,
which
so
I
painful.
love.
Funny, yeah.
Yeah, lots of tasks and.
I was watching for a while. Is it Genki no Tsukai? I don't know if I'm going to say that.
Yes.
Yeah, which is like essentially they got a huge run of they were on Japanese TV for ages, and they just seemed to be able to do whatever. They just seemed to be able to do whatever they wanted.
Yep.
And some of them were like they would get in various types of ham, and they would sample one piece of ham, and then they would try all the different ham, and when they worked out if it was the same type of ham, they'd guess, and if they'd put it in a special plate, and if they get it wrong,
Adam's mouth is watering, by the way.
they get like kicked in the testicles, or like a man comes on, puts a stocking and spins their head.
Yeah.
Was that the same?
Song.
Was that the same thing you showed me where people were eating furniture, and then they had to guess if it was chocolate candy or if it was real? What was that same thing?
Yeah. And there's one as well where they've all got to come out in different coloured costumes, and if they don't, they like get injured and they have to go back in, and they're there the whole thing. It lasts like a whole day, and then by the end, it's just them walking in and out of a changing room. I loved it.
The thing I was talking about is there was this one show where it was called like Real or Candy, and people made these like a chair that was made out of candy, and people, if they thought it was candy, they had to bite into it, and sometimes it's just a chair. And it was honestly the things I couldn't tell if it was real or not. It was such a good show. So Japan has the best shows is what we're getting
But
at.
I can understand when you say that Japanese people have a sort of morbid or dark sense of humour. I can understand from that because it's often just someone getting really, really injured.
Painful, yes.
Funny.
Yes.
It is very funny.
Physically dark, isn't it? Yes, maybe. Yes.
So does that answer your question? Yeah. Good question. Does anyone else have a question? Let me. Yep.
So if you could perform at any venue in the world, any venue you wanted, which would be the venue you would choose to perform at?
Good question.
Very good.
That's a hard question though.
Very hard.
Is it the Leyton Technical?
Tick that off the list.
Yes,
Another one
and
off the list.
I made it. So you guys said, do at Soho Theatre.
Thank you for
which
saying
is
that. We are going to Soho Theatre,
which is
Yuriko.
amazing. And
From
I'd
the
love
7th to the
do
10th of August.
Soho Theatre.
He did. He promoted it very loudly into the microphone.
Yeah. So I'd love to do at Soho Theatre because it's one of the places that everyone want to.
Yes.
I mean, we could get rid of one of the actresses.
You could just come along and do that.
you could join it.
And for anyone interested in what we're talking about, we're doing our show, The Starship Osiris, at the Soho Theatre from the 7th to 10th of August 2019 at 9 p.m.
Unfortunately, you'll also be doing your show at the
In
Pleasance.
Edinburgh.
Yes.
To rapturous
Yeah.
applause.
But if you're not going to Edinburgh, come to our show because we need to sell tickets so they'll bring us back again.
Basically, you should either be seeing our show or Yuriko's show.
Yes.
One of the two.
And if you're not doing that...
Fuck off.
Good point. Did that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. This has got really loud, so we're going to stop in a second. But what are your plans for after the Edinburgh Fringe? Do you have anything lined up that you want to talk about, or not? Have you just planned to the Fringe and then beyond that you don't know? Or?
See how it goes, maybe. But then, I think after Edinburgh, hopefully I'm better at comedy and see what life will take you. Mm-hmm. Is that the phrase?
That's the meaning of life.
And you answered Ian's question from earlier.
Just as someone opened the door.
All right. Well, I think we should finish now. Can we have a last round of applause, please?
So that, what do I say?
Fascinating.
I really enjoyed that one.
You say it was a really genuine guy. I really enjoyed
Okay.
that one. Thank you. Hello.
Okay.
Awesome.
That was really lovely. We've wanted to get her on for ages. She's hilarious. We saw her how long ago? 2 years ago. She's absolutely hilarious. If you get a chance, if you're up in Edinburgh, then check out Somo. It's on the Pleasance Attic. And I think she'll be touring it afterwards. She's in the room. I'm looking at her. Are you touring it afterwards? Are you touring it after Edinburgh? Do you have?
hopefully there'll be a tour afterwards.
So check that out as well.
Yes, and on Twitter
oh God, what's your Twitter?
at Yuriko Comedy.
At Yuriko. Well done.
I did a bit of research, mate.
At Yuriko Comedy.
Yes, to see what's going on with that. And obviously, willisandvere.com/starship to buy your tickets for the Starship size. Now, here's something you might not know about this. The Soho Theatre operates a sneaky policy where the more the room is filled, not sneaky policy, sorry, good policy. The more the room is filled, the more money the tickets cost. So buy early to avoid immense disappointment of having to pay an extra 50p.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know anything. But I think the good thing about it is that they're brilliant and book us again.
Yeah.
What? Who's brilliant? Soho.
Soho, yeah.
But
I've always said that.
But book first, and then all those other people that might book, they'll have to pay something.
Who will book, you mean? Who will book? Because we know we definitely will sell out. So book early to avoid having to pay an extra 50p. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. That's good, George.
Mm-hmm.
And just be chill.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ian, do you have anything to add about Adam's Tooth or anything?
No. I think we've covered it all.
Okay.
I think we have as well.
Okay. In 2 weeks' time, we have who, Adam?
We'll see.
We don't know yet. Be exciting.
Yeah.
We think the idea is we have another 2 of these in London booked, and then another 3 from Edinburgh. But this is all to be confirmed. So.
And watch this space. Number 50 will be a big extravaganza.
And let's just say Adam might be planning a little stand-up tour with a game stand-up. So
Perhaps.
just keep tuned.
Well, maybe.
So yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time, where we will have Dylan Gott again.
And we'll just fade out with a little bit of this lovely jazz band.